travaille lui aussi sur les températures extrêmes et sur l'architecture bioclimatique. Miltos, vous êtes là?
Oui,
je vous
bonjour.
Je vous donne la parole.
Merci beaucoup Anne-Marie. Ça fait vraiment plaisir de participer, malheureusement virtuellement, aujourd'hui, parce que dans l'époque, je vivais à Strasbourg et ça me fait vraiment de bons souvenirs. J'avais passé 3 ans à Célestat. Je faisais mes études en biologie sur le comportement des singes juste à la montagne des singes, si vous connaissez, à Kinsheim. Malheureusement, ma présentation c'est en anglais. Je vous promis que je le fais en français aussi et je envoyé après au AMAI. Et si vous me permettez, je peux ouvrir ma présentation, comme ça, ça ira plus facile pour moi et pour vous aussi. I am from SAKELLARIOU. I'm the chairman of. Could you see the presentation now?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I'm the chairman of Social Cooperative of SAKELLARIOU, and our topic for today is about extreme summer temperature increase and heat waves and traditional bioclimatic architecture, especially in Cyclades. So the bioclimatic architecture of 21st century again sets the goal of human living in harmony with the natural environment. All the intoxicated advantages of 20th century we built uncontrollably under the illusion that nature could not punish us. Now that we understand that we must build ecologically, it is useful to study our traditional architecture, which had been integrated into the ecosystem. Just for a smaller definition, what is heat waves is just a prolonged period of excessive heat, and the minimum duration of this is for 3 days, adapted by the most meteorological services. So here in Greece, if you have more than 36.5 Celsius for 3 consecutive days, let's say we are in a heat wave. The last 50 years until 210, as you see, the days that yearly that we had more than those temperatures had increased, especially after 2000. And we arrived at summer of 2021. The Greek heat wave that recorded was really the longest heat wave ever recorded in Athens. The duration was 10 days, and it was the second highest daily maximum temperature, equal to 43.9, almost 44 degrees, and comparable with the first one that it was in June of 2007 at 44.8. In other areas of mainland of Greece, we had even higher temperatures, up to 47 degrees, and the conclusion was long duration, high temperature also during the night, as well all the cumulative heat that we had all over in Greece. As you see, really from south, from Crete, we had the temperature of 45 until to Thessaloniki with 40.4. It was really a nightmare. As you had also this summer in France, we had fires. We had really everywhere fire in Greece, and the result, as you see, especially in Evia Island, was really big ecological. So if we just go back and we try to understand how could be the bioclimatic architecture and popular knowledge, we see that the construction of buildings once upon a time will function as living organisms in direct connection with their natural environment and presented as a capable solution to the energy and social crisis of our times. So, the principle of bioclimatic architecture, as they are formulated today, expressed by the transfer of practices of the past and how are these practices adapted to keep up with modern building requirements. This is a good example of modern bioclimatic architecture that is emphasize of limiting energy consumption from non-renewable sources, saving water, avoiding overheating of buildings, and of course the choice of building materials and methods with ecological criteria. We have really done a very big progress how we can build actually bioclimatic process and principles. The question is what could be useful and to our new vision of the protection of the environment, the traditional folk architecture in Greece. The characteristic of the traditional architecture in Greece was freedom, improvisation, and independence from any style or theory. The traditional builders, guided by the weather conditions, the economy, and the available material of its region, adapted their techniques to the condition of their place in a natural and effortless way. Here is in Santorin a cave house, and we will explain after how does it work. So all those components that we are speaking about modern bioclimatic architecture, we try to analyze by the components of Greek traditional bioclimatic architecture. As you see here, we use stone houses that we can find easily in Cyclades. By that, we save energy but for heating with thick stone or brick exterior walls of the buildings, and they have really a high heat capacity. You can have even 10 degrees difference between the out temperature and the internal temperature of a house. For centuries, we used also water mills and windmills, and actually the first written evidence about the existence of water mill in Greece was from Strabo, and about the palace of the Podiankik Mithridates, about 163 before Jesus. And all those water mills and windmills had really something to add, like settlements, traditional settlements. Especially the water mills can be considered the ancestors of modern hydroelectric works that we have actually, factories. And the windmills can be considered the ancestor of modern wind turbines. We have a big discussion. Just a small photo from Mykonos. And we passed to the safe water and cisterns that it was really for, especially for the Cyclades island, very, very important because the lack of water, it was really tremendous. The sharing of water in traditional buildings located in areas without rivers, like the Cyclades island, and carried out by collecting rainwater in cisterns. The cisterns are located in the basement of the building, and there were also outdoor cisterns that were covered. And the rainwater is mainly collected on flat roofs and by kyugia, the Greek, let's say, water to say, lead by clay to the cistern. Perhaps, obviously, a lot of you have visited already Santorini, but due to their soil, that it was volcanic, the Santorini has an impressive cistern labyrinth of a lot of cisterns that really gives a lot of water from rain every year. For avoiding the overheating of buildings, we use here to minimize the direct heating from the sun and avoiding extension well. So the most of the houses in Cyclades are white because the most of the long wavelength solar radiation is reflected and does not hit the building. And modern researchers, they refer that the example of Cycladic settlements and other settlements in the Mediterranean really, for centuries, have protected people from heat waves. Another is the external shading by canopy with arbors, as well as planting suitable plants in suitable positions. And also, the building has prevented with natural cooling techniques like openings. The main opening were placed in south and east side of the building, and the small openings were created in the highest part of the external walls, mainly at the opposite of the main openings and of the north side. And by that there was physical ventilation, north wind entry from north face, and even cooling by hot air from inside that went out from the building. So passive cooling systems were also from the ground, and this is a big discussion actually with the modern bioclimatic architecture, how we can gain, especially in our era that we have problem with energy, how would be passive cooling systems in our houses. Caves are found mainly in Santorini, where it is easy to excavate the volcanic soil, and even in the main city, actually, you see cave houses until now. But most important is that in Greece we used to live outdoor, and people for most months of the year prefer not to live indoor, and settled spaces that have at least one side open to the outdoors. And this is called to modern architecture semi-outdoors living. Hayati in Arabic means life, and we put a lot of activities of daily life in semi-outside environment. So those pictures, obviously, the people that they have already visited Greece is really highlights of their holidays, because give another environment. But the only thing that we can tell and add today with our presentation is that we arrive to have a bioclimatic traditional way of building. We are really very happy to announce an Erasmus that we work actually with other 8 organizations from 8 different islands from all over the world, from Italy, Croatia, Madeira, Tyros, Pemba, from Tanzania and Cabo Verde, Papua New Guinea and Martinique.
Okay, Miltos. So we understood the message. We have to. It's very beautiful. It's the trees of les arbres de l'espoir. Nous devons donc planter. Nous devons être fidèles à l'architecture traditionnelle qui sait traiter des problèmes comme celui auquel nous sommes confrontés en ce moment. Je vais très très rapidement demander s'il y a des questions à poser à l'un des orateurs. Voilà. Alors, est-ce que vous avez des questions, soit en ligne, soit dans la salle?